Imagine this. It's 9 a.m. on a holiday and you have the entire day to study. You have the time in the world to get ahead of your goals and to spend the entire day productively. But you have no motivation. You just cannot get started no matter how much you want to. Sounds familiar, right? I mean, happens to all of us. So, what should you do then? I mean, studying without motivation sounds like a huge challenge, but there are ways you can push through even on your toughest days. So, in this video, I'll be sharing 10 actionable steps on which you can study effectively even when you do not have any motivation to do so. So, without further ado, let's get started. How many times have you found yourself sitting just passively staring at your notes, at your books without even moving a muscle? I mean, happens a lot. We all procrastinate a lot. There's this method called the 1 2 3 get up rule. It's about counting to 3 and just getting up and starting the work without even letting your brain think. Here's why it works, right? I mean, overthinking is the enemy of productivity. The more you think, the more excuses you make, and the less likely you are to get started. So, by just physically getting up on the count of 3, you stop your brain from thinking anything, you stop your brain from making any excuses, and you just get started. And the hardest step of studying is getting started. So the next time you are trying to procrastinate, just count to 1 2 3 and get up. No excuses, no overthinking, nothing. Just act without any excuses. Have you ever felt overwhelmed with when you feel like you have a lot to do? There is a lot pending, a lot of tasks left to do. It's very easy to freeze then and there when everything feels a little too overwhelming. I know, right? So, here's what you should do: breaking very big tasks into small, manageable steps is the best way to tackle one thing at a time without feeling way too overwhelmed. Here's why it works: small tasks do not feel overwhelming, they give you a satisfaction when you complete them, and it also leads to motivation, right? The more boxes you tick, the more closer you are to your goal, and the more likely you are to complete that goal. So, the next time you have a very huge list of things left to do, pick a small task to start with and then complete it. If you just have a very huge goal without any sub goals, just make them. Break a very huge goal into smaller sub parts and then do each task one by one. The more tasks you complete, the more motivation you get. So, yeah, break it down. We all have felt that motivation we get when we are in the zone, right? The zone where we are just productive, doing our tasks, and we are just so much motivated. To get in that zone, you need more than just a clean desk. Creating a study ritual can be helpful here. Here's what you can do: just create a ritual of your own. It could be just as simple as listening to certain songs before you sit to study, or just making yourself a cup of tea, or just tidying up your desk. Choose a small activity that signals your brain that yes, it's time to focus, we are going to go and study. Here's why it works: consistent rituals trains your brain to associate certain actions with certain things. It helps you transition more into that study zone very easily. So, here's how to do it. Every time you have a study session planned, create a ritual, consistent ritual, and every time before a study session, 5 to 10 minutes before, start with that. Maybe start listening to that song which you always listen to before you get started with studying. Consistency is the key. And yes, create a study ritual and you'll get into that zone very easily. Remember how we talked about getting started is the hardest part of studying, right? Here's how you can make that even easier. If you're feeling stuck, sometimes make sure that you start with the easiest task. Pick the easiest task on your list and start there. Once you do the very easy task, a short reading, solving the easiest problem, you're building momentum, right? You are getting into that actionable mode, and then the more you do things, the more you're inclined to do the other things. Once it begins, it's easier to tackle the bigger problems because your brain is already in that action mode. So, the next time you are sitting to study and you have no motivation to start, look at your to do list, find the task that seems the easiest and would take the smallest time to complete, and just commit to doing it. Once you get started, you'll realize you do not want to stop. If your study environment is too cluttered, it might be cluttering your mind too. Take a few minutes every day to clear your study areas. Organize your books, your papers, your materials. A tidy space can immediately make you feel more focused, and just eliminating all distractions can be very helpful in maintaining that focus. Clutter creates a mental distraction. By keeping your space organized, you reduce that visual noise all around you, which helps your brain focus better. So, before you sit to study, spend 1 or 2 minutes every day just putting away those unnecessary items and just keep the items on the desk that you really need, and you'll be good to go. In this world of social media, distractions are everywhere. Your phone, your Instagram, or just the people around you. But it's nothing you can't control. Distractions can break your flow state, and by limiting your distractions, you stay focused for longer periods of time, which leads to longer productive periods, right? So, here's what you should do. Every day, just silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and make you could also use apps like Forest or Focus Mode to block all the unnecessary apps you do not need. Block the notification, send your phone into the grayscale mode, and just or you could just put your phone in another room. Just make sure that you limit all the distractions, and to be honest, our phone is the biggest distraction. So if you could just keep it away while you're studying, you would be more focused, more productive, and you would also get a lot of time to study because we do spend a lot of time scrolling, right? We all know the Parkinson's law, right? The work expands itself to fill the time given to it. I mean, when there is no time limit in sight, it can feel a little overwhelming to study, right? I mean, how long am I going to do this? So, a time limit creates that urgency. It helps your mind focus better. It helps your mind not to wander off to some different world, and helps you to remember that I need to focus on this, I need to complete this because there is a time limit to do that. I mean, there is a reason why we finish our assignments the fastest before the date of submission. Procrastination is real. So, the next time you sit to study, pick a task, set a timer, and commit to working on it, completing it by that time. Yeah, of course, when you have finished a task, you should take a break, reset your mind, and just do it again. So, yeah, set a time limit, and you will be much more focused. Out of sight, out of mind is often true when it comes to your goals as well. Having a visible list of your progress gives you that sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going, right? So, every day before you get started, write down all the tasks that you need to do for that day, and as you finish each one, just cross it off, and you will feel that accomplishment coming through to you. It would be very satisfying to see a list of everything crossed off. What I do to make it even more fun is just give if there's a huge task, as I said earlier in the video as well, if there's a huge task, just break it down into smaller subtasks, and as you just keep on taking even the smaller tasks, you feel like you have gotten so much done, and you would get that internal satisfaction which would give you more motivation to keep going, right? Have you ever felt that you have woken up, you feel like there is so much to do, and you do not know from where to get started? Preparing yourself before the night before can prevent that. It removes that decision fatigue, thinking what I need to do today. And it sets you up for a very productive day. You could hit the ground running as soon as you are ready to start working. So, before you sleep every day, just take 5 minutes to organize your study materials and just lay out what you need to study for the next day. Prepare the night before and you will see the difference. Sitting for too long can be very daunting. I mean, have you felt your focus just drifting off once you have spent a little too long sitting on your chair? A little movement can help with that. Physical movement promotes blood flow to the brain, which helps you focus and keeps you productive. The same drill, right? We all know that. So, we all know that, but we do not use that, right? So here's what you should do: just set a timer for maybe 1 hour, and after each hour just remind yourself to get up, stretch for 5 minutes, walk for 5 minutes, do anything, just move your body, and you'll feel like you're able to focus much better the for the next sessions. So yeah, incorporate a little movement and you will be good to go. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is constant. Your habits are the key to consistent studying. You could use these 10 strategies to make studying feel a little easier, a little more efficient, even on days when you feel like your motivation is low. And with that, this video comes to an end. I hope this was helpful. If you found any value in this video, give it a like and subscribe the channel for more such videos. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.